Hi, my name is Dan Hohenstein, and this is my calculating transportation cost presentation for EDU 528, Financing the Athletics Activities Program. To give you a little background, I'm currently at Kirkwood High School, and I am the freshman boys soccer coach as well as the assistant JV boys basketball coach. I decided to choose one of my teams because I was interested in how much it would be to have bus transportation for one of my own teams, and then I chose also to do a different team that is not mine, and that is why I chose girls varsity softball. As we take a look at the numbers, the bus company that we use charges us $40 an hour, and on top of that, there is a 3 hour minimum. I found this interesting because at first I thought that was kind of extreme, but unless your team is just being dropped off, most sporting events take about 3 hours to get there, sit there during the game, and also return. To better understand why I chose the departure time and return time is that we always left for our games right after school at 3 o'clock. A few of the games added about an extra 30 minutes on the return time because of the distance that we had to drive. For freshman boys soccer, the games last an hour with about a 10-minute halftime. So I factored in about an hour and 15, hour 30 minutes by the time you get there and warm up and the game actually happens along with the drive there and the drive back. So give or take, regardless, you're going to be having to pay 3 hours whether you miss that mark by a little bit or just go a little bit over. As we move to the right, you go from the departure time and the return time to calculated the hours total times the $40, which they charge per hour. And then at the total, it would cost around $1,760 for the estimated bus cost for just the freshman boys soccer team. Before doing this presentation, I never really realized how expensive buses are just for one individual team, let alone an entire athletic program. And clearly, this number of $1,760 can be changed. It is an estimate because return times can change, whether it's overtime, traffic, or other scenarios. You may have to wait on somebody to get picked up, depending on if you make the kids ride back or not. So, rough estimate is around $1,760. Next, we're going to take a look at the varsity girls softball schedule. A few different factors come into play when it comes to the amount that's spent on a varsity team. Obviously, they're going to have more games when it comes to their schedule, just because of the varsity level. That's how it works. In addition to districts and however far you go in the state tournament. I also factored in an extra half hour for their game times because they don't have these scheduled game times like soccer where it's not just an hour and that's all it's going to be. With softball, you don't know exactly how long it's going to be. So I gave about 30-minute drive there, 30-minute drive back, 2 hour game give or take, and a little bit of warm up time, and that's how I got to my 3.5 hours. So taking a look again at the numbers, 3.5 hours times $40 equals 140 times however many away games that they have, and that came to a number of $2,240, which again is cost more than the freshman or JV level just because of the number of games that they do have. And again, the estimate is just an estimate made on return times, bus route, extra innings, traffic, and all those things can make it longer, shorter. But I went ahead and took a 3.5 hour average, which gave me $2,240. Looking at all of this information, I found it very, very informational. I knew buses were expensive, but I didn't realize they were this expensive. And when I talked to our AD and assistant AD, they said this cost is by far our biggest expense operating an athletic program, which is no surprise after taking a look at these numbers. Thank you, and I hope this presentation was informational.